Hey, you know what's creepy? This. You know what's not creepy? This movie. Hello, welcome to Tubi Tuesday, and we are trudging along. Oh, you guys must really hate me. What did I do to you? That I have to. Now, true, I picked the movies, but I wanted to go the most B movie, goofy, schlocky, rip-off route possible. So, of course, I had to go to the one place I know I would get what I'm looking for, and that is the asylum. Which brings us to Paranormal Entity, a rip-off mockbuster of paranormal activity. And this movie was a long time coming. Let me tell you, this is a long time coming because officially, the first review I ever did on this channel was Paranormal Activity, the original one. But technically, it was Detective Pikachu, but that review no longer exists. So it's Paranormal Activity, and quite often during the anniversaries, I honor this channel with Paranormal Activity, and well, that's usually in August, and I usually forget. But here, actually, we're going through August. Please, I could have waited till August to do this, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're coming across the milestone for this anyway, and that's the 100th episode of Tubi Tuesdays coming up. Just 4 more reviews, and we're there. Trying to figure out which one I'm doing, because it's got to be a great movie in this list of crap. I think I know what I'm doing, but we'll see. So Paranormal Entity came out in 2009, so that means it was a mockbuster for Paranormal Activity 2. Because it would make much sense for the first one, so yes. And it is written and directed by Shane Van Dyke, and also stars Shane Van Dyke as our main character, Thomas. Thomas Finley, who I think the whole point is that his face is not supposed to be shown. Because when we first see him in this, he's got a camera blocking his eyes. You can just see underneath his chin. And then later, when he actually in front of the camera, the light's off. So you just see sort of a shadow on his face. And I'm like, is this bad lighting, or were we not supposed to see his face? Because throughout most of the film, I don't think they realize that's not how found footage works. Oh, we have to be mysterious and not see his face. Okay. But let me point out something that this movie starts out with. So I had to watch it on this TV because there's some dialogue that's written. Stuff that they don't have in 2009 or whatever this came out. No. You have to read it. So I put it over here so I could read it. And right away, this movie spoils the ending for you. It does. Usually in found footage films, they wait till the end for this writing to pop up and say such and such happens. But right away they tell you on this date, Thomas Finley was arrested and convicted for the R word and killing of his sister, Samantha Finley. 1 year after these events, a videotape was found. This is the footage. We'll also say that he also committed shmooshmide in prison. The only thing they don't tell you is what happened to the mother, because you're assuming, they're going to show it on tape. Not really. You find out later that she also committed shmooshmide, and finding out both of her kids were dead. Okay. But you have now, right at the beginning of this movie, told us how this movie is going to end. Now, granted, going into a found footage movie, you expect it to kind of end in a way where no one is still alive. But this is treating it. You have this opening. It's blatantly like the opening of the second film, even though this came out around the same time, so I don't know, where they would say stuff like, the body of Mika Sloat was found, or 10 days before the death of Mika Sloat. Schlote. Sloat. I said Schlote. Schlote. That's his name now, Mika Schlote. From now on, when I talk about Paranormal Activity, he's Mika Schlote. Anyway, no, they just give away, really, the ending. And, budget is what budget... The budget does what budget does, I guess. Because even... This movie's so frustrating. Because people think... This is one of those movies where the filmmaker thinks all you have to do is turn on a camera and boom, found footage film. You can do what you want. No, you have to know what the fuck you're doing with the camera. You can't just turn on a camera and go, hey, hi, hey, what you doing? You have to be able to be coherent in what you're doing. If you're moving the camera all messed up. Now, to be fair, it's fine at first. I'm messing with this thing, it's me off. Because it should be on the tightest it is, and then yet... There. Should work. But he's like shaking it around. When stuff happens, it's... And I'm pretty sure it's purposely done. Because, like, oh, found footage has to be shaky. Not this shaky. When stuff happens, you can barely see shit. And I get you don't see stuff in there anyway, but it's like every time something happens, he's like, "Oh my God, Samantha!" And he runs around, and you see a corner of the frame. And I'm like, dude, we have to see what's going on. Oh, but he's sure to get the topless chick in the shot, even if it's just for a second. Make sure we get those tits in there. Okay, so Tony from Hacked Movies pointed out something in his review of this that had me think back at this. He says this is about a guy who has a thing for his sister. Though he does point out the incorrect caption that states that he R-worded her. Because that's not what happened. We see the foot. If... I don't know. Supposedly it's not what happened. I don't know, because this climax of the film is nothing, by the way, because it's the asylum and the budget is less than a penny. And yes, this film features a mother, daughter, and son instead of a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. They're still living in a ridiculous, expensive house. All three of them together for some reason. It's never given why. Reason why, like, oh, is she staying with them? Or does she live with it? It doesn't, not give it any thought to it at all. But they do go the route of being one of the most cliche ways to summon this thing. The mother, Ellen, believes she has been communicating with the spirit of her deceased husband. That's your first mistake, lady. But that's also cliche. Maybe not back then, but by now, yeah. Oh, I was trying to make contact because, like, what? So far, Ouija, Origin of Evil, did it. She was trying to make contact with her father, right? Wasn't in The Exorcist, right? The Exorcist, she was trying to make contact with her dad, and she got Mr. Captain Howdy. Is that what it was? Like, don't go looking to contact your dead folks. You're only going to invite something worse. All right? Just don't. No. And there are these demonic attacks or whatever that keep happening to Samantha. Because, like, and again, the claim that it was Thomas that did all this. No, because, you know, even when I talk about the ending where it kind of cuts away so you don't see what happens, there are points where she screams and he jumps out of bed. So it's not like he's... And he has cameras in each of their rooms except for his own, but he still has his camera. Because I'm like, well, wait a minute. He has the camera and there's camera in each of their rooms. So what does he do? Oh, it's in another room. But then he'll wake up and he'll have a camera with him anyway. So why can't he have a camera on in his room? Maybe it was just for production wise, right? And then the thing, you get the night one, night two, whatever. One of the nights, the camera gets the mom sitting up in bed, leaving the bedroom. She walks in the living room. She writes something on a piece of paper, but it also, for some reason, goes off the paper and onto the coffee table. It looks like it says "See you," but after Thomas finds it underneath Samantha's pillow, it spells out, connects it, and makes it smells like moron. I'm sorry, Marin, or as we find out later, maroon, okay. So after a few more scares, he has enough and sends them to a hotel, which you should not do in this case. Even later, the guy they get, who looks more like he would be the leader of a cult than a religious, like someone who could get rid of the demons. So he sends them to a hotel, which is interesting because that wasn't a plot to anything until the sixth one, the last one. Well, not the last one. Ghost Dimension, where they leave and go to a hotel. So it's interesting. Did they take from that? I don't know. But, I mean, no, the third one wasn't out yet either. This was before the second one. So he sets up traps in the house, which, how Mika Schlot set up the, Mika Schlot set up the baby powder trap or whatever. Here, it's bells. So now what happens now makes no fucking sense. So, the demon starts ringing the bells. Ring my bell, ring the bell, ring the bells. Which is what you should do if you want to get notifications. I don't often do that, but this is a good point to do it. No, rings the bells, throws one across the room, and then he gets a phone call from the mom saying the demon followed them to the hotel and attacked Samantha, so he tells them to come back to the house. And that's when they explain, you followed us there, and I went, bullshit. The demon was at the house messing with the bells. He could not be there and at the hotel at the same time. And you're telling me, because the way they called, it happened and she called right away. So it makes no sense. They clearly wanted to mock the scene from the first one with the footprints, but this time they do have muddy footprints on the ceiling and stuff. But then they had to do that. A couple more passes the script, people. Come on. Because the demon bangs on his door. They get there, it's man hunches over in pain. And at night, he awakens to find her gone. Though, we get, So, yes, this is a very gorgeous actress. And I'm pretty sure, before they cast the actress, these scenes were not written in here. Because we get a scene of her in her underwear. Very gorgeous actress. She's 2 years older than me. But what happens is we see the blanket peel off of her, kind of like we do with Katie. But instead of just going flying off of her, it doesn't pull from there, because that would be too fucking easy. I have it pulled from up here. So you see where there would be like a fishing line or something. You could see it peel off. I'm like, that is horrendous. You don't, unless I was really looking close, I couldn't see the fishing line that was pulling it, but it was obvious that something was pulling it because it went off. Like it just here. Let me show you with this. The title back. So instead of just having it pull like that, no. They have it do this. So it does this. And peels off that way. It makes it look like something was pulling on to make it do that. You know what I mean? And then she's in her underwear. And then it cuts to him. And he hears the noise. But he keeps hearing her screaming for him, but she's gone. So he wakes up and, like, again, Wikipedia just kind of sums it up into a blurb, where it's like, Thomas wakens at night, finds his sister missing. He finds the attic ladder hanging down and ascends it to find her standing there in her bra and panties. However, we see her in her bra and panties first, and I wish it was this quick. No, we gotta take what feels like forever, but it's probably like 5 minutes of him running around the house. Samantha! Samantha! Going outside. Samantha! Samantha! And it was like, Jesus Christ, find the attic already. Yes, I look up stuff already because I don't know. I'm just like, it's so abbreviated in the Wikipedia article, but it takes forever for him to get to the attic and find her up there in her underwear. She's in a trance. And she's not remember what happened when she wakes up. So he calls the owner of the house and asks if there's anyone named Marin to live there, but they don't recognize the name. Then he hears Samantha screaming and rushes to the bathroom where we find her titties. Just quickly, boop. She's in the bathtub topless. Why is she still in her underwear? Who knows? And what was she doing in there? I don't know. Did the demon put her in there? And then at night, Ellen wakes up after hearing thuds outside. The living room camera then shows her standing in the archway with a knife before returning to her bedroom. And okay, so this makes it feel like Thomas wakes up after hearing the door slam shut and finds that Ellen had slit her wrist. So it feels like, this makes it feel like he heard the door shut, slam, got up, and went to investigate. No, that's not what happens. He hears the door slam, he wakes up, turns on the camera, and turns to find his mom standing there. He's like, Jesus Christ, Mom! And I'll tell you what, the scream acting he does off screen is pretty good. And I think this is where he has that scene where he sits there, but you don't see his face because I don't know why. But they stay home and they get this psychic, Dr. Edgar Lauren, to arrive, which is basically the guy from Paranormal Tubi. He says, I cannot be here, it's just wrong. But he's like, no, we're going to do something. And he basically explains powerful dark entity in the home that is after Samantha. After he goes into the room, he looks when he comes in. Yeah. Okay. And when they show him the paper, he's like, it's maroon. It's old Germanic for nightmare. In Germanic folklore, the nightmares were demons similar to the American incubi. A demon that R-words women in their sleep. And is focused on Samantha. And the look on her face is like, what the fuck? She doesn't say it, but the look on her face, the fuck? Apparently there are demons that do that, I don't know. He agrees to help get rid of the entity, and then it just cuts to black. And I went, alright, let's do this. What do you got? They got nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Because it cuts to the camera on the ground. Priest, dead. Doctor, whatever, dead. Blood on him. And looking right into the camera. Thomas freaks out, panicking. He grabs the camera and hears Samantha screaming, runs in to find her. Guess what? The house is in disarray, but he finds her naked. Well, it says naked, but she's still got underwear on. Naked, levitating in the room, covered in blood. And it says being R-worded by a very invisible demon, but you know, he can't keep the camera steady long enough for us to even see what the fuck is going on. So I guess that's what happened. We'll have to take their word on it. Not that I want to see that, but I'm just saying. I mean, if you want to see that scary movie too, just you know, the whole scene with Tori Spelling. Technically it was, but not that she didn't want it. Which is what they say, so I wouldn't say that. But I'm just saying, she clearly wanted it in that movie. So much that he ran away. The ghost. I don't know. He drops the camera and runs out of the room to find help. Then there's a gurgling noise. Okay, I thought he was knocked out from this. Because it looks like The way I saw it, he was knocked out, and the camera falls, and you hear, which is her dying, is what it sounded like. Someone grabs the camera, heavy breathing can be heard. Oh, by the way, one of the most annoying fucking things in this. It's during that. I mean, I think it happens throughout the movie, but it's most noticeable during the scene where he's looking for his sister, because all you hear is. And even when he breathes, obnoxious. Somebody watched Blair Witch Project before doing this. I mean, who breathes like that? I understand, but this is clearly purposely making this noise because that's what they do in these movies. Yeah, and then the camera picks up, focuses on her. She's dead. And we get more text that the cops came in a couple days later or something, found her dead in his arms, and he was charged with the R word and death and was sentenced to life. And then after that, he offs himself, schmoosh mine. Then after hearing of her children's death, she also commits schmoosh mine. And then it was reported that the recordings weren't found until a year later in the attic. Pretty fucking convenient, huh? Like, I'm sorry. This is just convenience on the writer's part. Like, oh, I want all my characters to die, so they can't find the footage until a year. Because it's like, oh, if the footage was found with Thomas, they might be able to actually exonerate him so that he has to die in prison or something. I don't know. Or he could go to prison, get R-worded by someone with AIDS, come out, try to get an experimental procedure, but because of his conviction, he's not able to do that, and then die of AIDS, and then his father can get revenge on everyone involved, no matter how convoluted it would be. I'll try. His dad is dead. Well, his mom, she... Never mind. Also, seeing what we saw earlier with what the demon did to the mom, we could also kind of surmise that maybe she didn't off herself and the demon finished her off, being the only witness that could tell the truth. But then they had the footage and I don't know. And they made sequels. None of them connect. Because you couldn't connect. 3 indirect sequels were released, each 1 year after the other. 8213 Gacy House, Annalise the Exorcist Tapes, and 100 Ghost Street, The Return of Richard Speck. That title makes no fucking sense. It's a mockbuster of the film Paranormal Activity 4. Okay. So why give them... I guess there is other versions, other names. Paranormal Entity 2, Gacy House. Paranormal Entity 2, The Exorcist Tapes. Paranormal Entity 4, The Awakening. Okay. That last one doesn't even make any sense. The Awakening. No. Films and elements of paranormal activity films, such as the documentary style, and it involves different people experiencing supernatural events from their unseen entities. They're not connected. I'm not going to even try to review those. This is crap. This is crap. Do I even need to give... I almost feel like some of these, they don't deserve ratings. You know what I mean? It's an silent film. So it's crap. But how crap is it? Is it bad enough to burn in hell? Or is it just stuck in the mud? as bad as this movie is, and as much disrespect it has for one of my favorite franchises out there, Paranormal Activity, I think it treads the line, but I don't think it crosses it enough to fry in hell. So I will say that Paranormal Entity is just stuck in the mud. Yeah, so that's my review of Shane Van Dyke's Paranormal Entity. Come back next week as I take a look at Shane Van Dyke's other horror mockbuster, Titanic 2. Wish I was making that up. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Let me comment below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.